Have you ever wondered what would happen if you woke up tomorrow morning? In the Middle Ages, no phone, no coffee, no TikTok, just cold stone walls, smelly streets, and bread so hard you could use it as a weapon. Many people imagine being a knight, a princess, or a wise monk. Reality check. Most people were peasants, and life was tough enough that you probably wouldn't last even one day. So in this video, let's travel back in time together. We'll wake up in a medieval bed, try to brush our teeth, grab breakfast, work the fields, survive the justice system, maybe even get medical treatment, and if we're lucky, we'll make it through the day alive. Spoiler alert, you probably won't. Have you ever wondered what would happen if you woke up tomorrow morning? In the Middle Ages, no phone, no coffee, no TikTok, just cold stone walls, smelly streets, and bread so hard you could use it as a weapon. Many people imagine being a knight, a princess, or a wise monk. Reality check. Most people were peasants, and life was tough enough that you probably wouldn't last even one day. So in this video, let's travel back in time together. We'll wake up in a medieval bed, try to brush our teeth, grab breakfast, work the fields, survive the justice system, maybe even get medical treatment, and if we're lucky, we'll make it through the day alive. Spoiler alert, you probably won't. Hygiene now for Personal Care Medieval Edition. You look around for a bathroom and discover a pottery chamber pot under the bed. That is the bathroom. Someone usually empties it into the street, ideally after shouting a warning. Ideally. The streets are narrow, the gutters run down the center, and anything liquid is suspicious. Your morning walk is an agility course. Step over puddles of mystery and try not to get baptized from above. Brushing your teeth. The modern toothbrush won't be invented for centuries. You'd use a chewing stick, a rag with salt or strong-smelling herbs. In some places, people genuinely believe stale urine could whiten teeth. Yes, a detail you can never unknow. Mouthwash. Congratulations, you've invented it. Deodorant is also DIY, rosemary sage, or just stoic confidence. Bathing is complicated. In some towns, public bathhouses exist, but they rise and fall in popularity depending on money, morality, and epidemics. Hot water is a full-time job. Chop wood, haul water, heat it, pour it. If you have a wooden tub, it's a luxury that the whole family and sometimes guests share in order of social importance. By the time it's the toddler's turn, the water has retired from being water and become soup. Clothes are wool and linen. Laundry day is rare. Soap is made from lye and animal fat, enthusiastic enough to take the color out of your tunic and the moisture out of your skin. You don your cleanest not bathing outfit and step outside to the world's longest-running odor festival. Markets sell fish without refrigeration. Butchers work next to tanners, and tanners soak hides in things you never want to smell. Add manure wood smoke and the occasional pig trotting through, and you get a perfume labeled Ode to Authenticity. Narrow alleys funnel sound and scent directly into your nostrils. People spit in the street. Dogs, chickens, and the occasional goose do whatever they want. You try not to breathe too deeply. Then a woman leans out of a window with a sloshing pot and yells something in a language you don't quite catch. You do catch the meaning when a suspicious waterfall narrowly misses your hat. You are now clean by medieval standards, not obviously muddy and not actively on fire. Good enough. Breakfast. Your stomach asks for coffee. The century says no. Instead, you get a heavy wooden mug of small beer, a weak low-alcohol brew that even children drink because the water can be unsafe. It tastes like someone whispered beer over warm bread. Speaking of bread, meet your breakfast, a loaf sturdy enough to reinforce a door. You angle it like a chisel and try to bite. Your teeth file an official complaint. If you're lucky, there's porridge or pottage bubbling over the hearth, oats or barley with a little onion or cabbage, if the season allows. Meat is a holiday guest. Most mornings it declines to appear. Butter and cheese exist, but depend on the cow's mood and the family's purse. You may also encounter yesterday's bread, rebranded as today's plate, a trencher soaking up stew until it's soft enough to chew. When finished, people eat it, feed it to animals, or give it to the poor. Nothing is wasted. Almost everything is chewy. Across the room, a child dunks bread into small beer with the confidence of practice. You raise an eyebrow. People raise livestock. Priorities differ. Someone jokes that the bread could be used as a weapon. No one laughs because it has been used as a weapon. A neighbor offers you a pickled something in a jar that once had ambitions to be a vegetable. You smile bravely and say yes, because saying no would be rude, and also because you are very hungry. The wealthy have feasts you've seen in paintings, roast swans with gilded beaks and pies that release live birds for spectacle. You are not wealthy. You are intimately familiar with oats. Somewhere a minstrel sings about chivalry. Your stomach sings about carbohydrates. Breakfast ends when the pot is empty, not when you decide you're full. You wipe your hands on yesterday's linen, today's napkin, and brace for the real test of the day labor. Work. Welcome to the office, a field that goes on forever, a sky that doesn't care, and a supervisor named the Sunday. Your tools are wooden handles and iron edges that blister your hands. You bend, lift, drag, repeat. Farming is choreography with gravity, plow, straight, sow, evenly weed, constantly harvest fast. Miss the weather by a week, and you miss dinner by a month. Work is seasonal and merciless. Spring is for plowing and sowing. Summer is for weeding, mowing, and repairing everything the winter broke. Autumn is for harvesting and panicking about the harvest. Winter is for mending tools, fixing roofs, spinning, weaving, and trying not to starve. Children carry water scare birds from fields and learn quickly that boredom is a luxury. The village runs on a community schedule. When the bell rings, you move. You might owe Labor Days to a Lord Corvée, rent and grain taxes in kind, and church dues for your soul's maintenance plan. You farm your strip in the open field system, long ribbons of land scattered across the village. It's efficient for sharing oxen teams and inefficient for your legs. If you're a craftsperson, your day looks different, but not easier. Blacksmiths sweat beside forges, tanners endure. Smells that haunt legends. Millers listen to the river, grind grain like an endless set of teeth. Holidays exist, saints' days, market fairs, harvest festivals, and on parchment it can look like medieval people hardly worked. In reality, holy days often involve church services, community obligations, and light work. That is only light if you're comparing it to dragging a plow. When illness hits, there's no paid leave. If you can stand, you can work. If you can't, you hope your neighbors help, and you pay them back later in labor or loaves. By noon, your lower back learns new dialects of pain. By afternoon, your shoulders audition for the role of boulder. You drink more small beer because it's safer than water and just enough calories to keep your legs attached. When the sun finally decides you've suffered enough, you trudge home proud of the simple miracle that you are against all odds still vertical. Punishments. Let's assume you make a poor decision. Perhaps you water your ale too much, cheat weights at the market, or loudly criticize the bailiff's charming personality. Medieval justice arrives quickly, publicly, and with a certain theatrical flair. For petty crimes, there are stocks and pillories, wooden frames that lock your head and hands so your neighbors can bond over throwing produce with terrible aim. It's social media, without the media, all comment section. No delete button. Your dignity takes the first hit. Old cabbages take the rest. Some towns prefer the cucking stool you're strapped to a chair and dunked in a cold river until your attitude or your lungs improve. Slanderous tongues may meet the scold's bridle, a metal cage that fits over the head with a bridle bit pressed into the mouth. It prevents speech and encourages reflection mostly on life choices. Repeat offenders might be paraded through town wearing signs that describe their sins. Crime and punishment also double as community theater. The stakes escalate fast. Theft can cost a hand. Arson can cost a life. Heresy can cost a very public, very final bonfire. Trials are short and not always enthusiastic about evidence. Fines are common cash if you have it goods or labor if you don't. Reputation matters. If multiple reputable neighbors swear you're honest, you might get leniency. If they don't, hope you enjoy root vegetables. Punishments are as much about humiliation as harm. The lesson is supposed to stick, and so are you, to the wood, to the memory of your neighbors, to the cautionary tales parents tell their children when those children eye the pie cooling on a windowsill. In short, the law is loud, local, and very hands-on. Do the crime, do the time outdoors in front of everyone with excellent attendance. Medicine. You feel a tickle in your throat. In the 21st century, you'd grab tea and check your symptoms online. Here you grab courage and check your humors. The medical universe revolves around balanced blood phlegm, yellow bile, black bile, too much of one. The solution is to remove something, usually blood. Enter the physician in long robes, with a book the barber surgeon, with sharp tools, and the apothecary with jars of powdered mystery. The physician diagnoses by pulse, urine color, and astrology. The barber surgeon offers to open a vein, set a bone, or remove a tooth at a price that includes screaming. The apothecary sells remedies with names like dragon's blood, which is not a metaphor so much as a vibe. Leeches wriggle in a jar like living punctuation marks to your bad decisions. A patient nearby clutches a bottle labeled ground toad with the same expression you use when IT says, "Have you tried turning it off and on again?" Trepanation, drilling a hole in the skull to let out evil spirits, is a real, if rare, procedure. Surgery happens without anesthesia. The best surgeons are fast, the best outcomes are luck, and infections are common. Cleanliness is understood in the sense that filth is bad, but nobody has discovered microbes yet, so prevention is more art than science. Women's health is perilous. Childbirth is a threshold moment in the most literal sense. Midwives are skilled and vital, but complications are many. Fevers after delivery are feared. Families often baptize infants quickly because tomorrow is not guaranteed. Neither is tonight. For everyday aches, people trust herbs, willow bark for pain, mint for stomach upsets, garlic because it does everything, or at least smells like it tries. Charms, amulets, and prayers accompany pills and poultices. If nothing else, hope itself can lower a fever or at least raise the spirit. You leave the healer lighter in the wallet, lighter in the veins, and heavier in stories. Somehow, you are both impressed at human ingenuity and determined never to cough again. Dangers. Let's take attendance. You are cold, undercaffeinated, and moderately punctured by agriculture. What else could go wrong? The Middle Ages answers everything sometimes at once. War is seasonal, mobile, and inconveniently fond of your neighborhood. A dispute between lords can turn your field into someone's shortcut. Armies eat, you have food. Armies need shelter, you have a roof. Armies want recruits, you have legs. Even when peace officially exists, bandits consider the road a private dining room. Travel means risk. Staying home means different risk. Fires love medieval towns. Houses lean toward each other over narrow lanes, trading gossip and sparks. Thatch burns enthusiastically. One candle tips, and a whole street glows like a bad idea. Bucket brigades form bells ring, and everyone runs with determination and inadequate technology. You keep precious things in a chest for a reason. It's your go bag, your safe, and your coffee table. Disease is the omnipresent background music. Coughs circulate, fevers flash, rashes debut. The Black Death will arrive in dramatic waves, but even when plague sleeps dysentery, smallpox and fevers of unknown enthusiasm attend parties uninvited. Clean water is rare. A single pig wandering through a market can be a health advisory with hooves. You learn to recognize plague doctors by their beaked masks and the speed at which people give them personal space. Weather negotiates with nobody. A bad harvest means hunger. A second bad harvest means famine. People stretch bread with peas or acorns thin stews to memories and pray for spring. Wolves patrol forests, rivers flood, roofs collapse under snow. Life expects you to know 5 different ways to start a fire and 3 different ways to apologize to your neighbor for borrowing his ladder forever. And yet communities endure. Villagers share tools, watch one another's children, and gather for feasts when they can. You trade eggs for help, mending a fence, stories for songs, laughter for stamina. The Middle Ages can be brutal, but people are stubbornly hopeful. On a clear night, you look up, see a sky unspoiled by lamps, and for one quiet minute you feel rich in stars right before the rooster screams again. So, could you survive one day in the Middle Ages? Probably not. From freezing cold beds to rotten food, from bizarre punishments to bloodletting doctors, the medieval world was less romantic fairy tale and more real-life nightmare. The next time you complain about Wi-Fi being slow, remember at least you have Wi-Fi. You have coffee, clean water, warm showers, and painkillers. Medieval peasants would think you're living like royalty. So be grateful for modern life. And if you enjoyed this time travel adventure, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Tell me, what's the one medieval challenge you think you'd fail at first? Thanks for watching. And remember, surviving one day in the Middle Ages would be harder than you think.